Esteemed friends, dear participants of the panel conference Initiative for the Improvement of Cooperation Among Cultural Institutions in the Danube Basin regions, I welcome you from the hall. Participants of the panel conference Initiative for the Improvement of Cooperation Among Cultural Institutions in the Danube Basin regions. From the hall of the Chamber of Commerce of Vojvodine, where the representatives from the cultural settings of the city of Navisad and the Može neko da isključi mikrofon? Okay, I will start again. Is it fine? Okay, I will start again. Da, sve funkcionira. Evo. Nenade, možda mikrofon na laptopu treba da se isključi. On je isključen, da. On je isključen. Laptop nema zvuk, nije on. Samo da vidim. On je isključen, da.
Sali nema da ste prikačeni.
So a couple of more minutes, we will solve this technical issue, for sure. Okay, I think now that we can officially start again one more time. Esteemed friends, dear participants of the panel conference Initiative for the Improvement of Cooperation Among Cultural Institutions in the Danube Basin regions, I welcome you from the hall of the Chamber of Commerce of Vojvodine, where the representatives from the cultural settings of the city of Novi Sad and the autonomous province of Vojvodine have gathered with the intention of discussing the improvement of cooperation and proposing implementation of new joint projects with their partners, the representatives of the cultural institutions from the members of the working community of Danube regions. We welcome all participants who have joined us via the video link from the region members of the working community, and especially our dear friends from Lower Austria, where the permanent secretariat of the organization is based and who promotes cooperation in the Danube Basin with great enthusiasm and energy. The conference is organized within the current autonomous province of Vojvodine presidency over the working community of the Danube regions for 2021-2022, and directly before the beginning of the implementation of the program of the title European Capital of Culture, which the city of Novi Sad holds in 2022. I'm honored to hear the presentation of 11 esteemed speakers during today's conference, including the welcoming video message from Johanna Mikolaitna, the governor of Lower Austria. As we have announced, the conference consists of three parts. We will start with the introductory speeches of high-level political representatives, followed by the part related to the activities that will be implemented within the title Novi Sad European Capital of Culture 2022, and the third part related to the possibilities of improving cooperation among the cultural institutions from the Danube Basin region. After the presentations of the esteemed speakers, a discussion is planned, which we expect to be interactive, with the intention of enabling the improvement of cooperation among cultural institutions and creation of preconditions for new guest appearances and exchange of artists from partner regions, organization of thematic exhibitions, literary evenings, guest appearances of theaters and music ensembles, and other possibilities for cooperation, which will be discussed by our distinguished colleagues from cultural institutions. Dear friends, before you hear from Vidoslava Anderić, the chair of the working group of the presidency of the autonomous province of Vojvodina over the working community of the Danube regions 2021-2022, we will listen the video message made by Johanna Mikl-Leitner, the governor of Lower Austria.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, I would first of all like to send you my sincere greetings and best wishes from Lower Austria. It is our great pleasure to participate in the shaping of the conference Initiative for the Improvement of the Cooperation of Cultural Institutions in the Danube region, with our Lower Austrian contributions. Having said that, I would especially like to express my thanks to the Minister of Culture, Public Relations and Relations with Religious Communities, Mrs. Dragana Milosevic, as well as to her team for the excellent cooperation in the course of the chairmanship of the working group Danube Countries 2020 to 2022. I would also like to cordially thank those responsible for the city of Navisad, who are represented by Mrs. Zorica Shia, as well as express my sincere thanks to the team of the European Capital of Culture Navisad 2022, which is represented by Nemanja Milenkovic. As a matter of fact, in the course of the chairmanship of the autonomous region of Vojvodine, we could experience that many people in your region have a strong awareness of art, culture, and cultural heritage. So kindly allow me to wish the autonomous region of Vojvodina and the city of Navisad that they can make use of all the chances that an eco-year can bring about for regional development, and that they therefore gain even more international appeal. And finally, dear ladies and gentlemen, let me assure you that Lower Austria will not only remain a reliable cooperation partner for Navisad during the year 2022, but will stay so even beyond. I would thus like to wish this conference every possible success and do hope that we'll soon be able to meet again in person. All the best.
Thank you, Governor Mikl-Leitner, for your cordial message. And now I give floor to Vidoslava Anderić, the chair of the working group for the presidency of the autonomous province of Vojvodina over the working community of Danube region 2021-2022. Vidoslava, floor is yours.
Thank you, Mita. Esteemed Governor of Lower Austria, Mrs. Johanna Mikl-Leitner, dear Provincial Secretary, Mrs. Dragana Milosevic, dear guests, dear representatives of cultural institutions, directors of cultural institutions from Vojvodina and Navisad, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very honored to welcome you today and officially open the panel conference under the name Initiative for the Improvement of Cooperation among Cultural Institutions in the Danube Basin regions. At the very beginning, I would like to thank all participants who has responded to our invitation, and I'm especially pleased that the Governor of Lower Austria, Mrs. Johanna Mikl-Leitner, has addressed us via video message. We all know how important it is to nurture cooperation among regions and countries along the Danube, and one of the initiatives which further improves this cooperation is the working community of Danube regions. The autonomous province of Vojvodina, a region in the north of Serbia, which you are very familiar with approximately 2 million people living, known as Europe in a miniature or Europe in a nutshell, is also home to 26 national communities with 6 official languages, currently holds the presidency of the working community of Danube regions for 2021 and 2022. The fact that Navisad, the administrative center of the autonomous province of Vojvodina, is the European capital of culture in 2022, is indicative of a wide range of topics and cultural events announced for the next year. I would like also to use this opportunity to underscore that we are extremely honored and pleased to hold the presidency of the working community, because we deeply believe it is a great platform for the comprehensive cooperation among cultural institutions with all interested partners and parties. The implementation of activities in the fields of culture, digitization, and transport, which are the priority topics during this year's presidency, will widely depend on the current epidemiological situation and measures applied to the organization of events, meetings, as well as the possibility of international travelings. The uncertainty in regard to intensity and number of activities that will be implemented in the following period is a great challenge we all face. However, we will do our best to adapt to this new situation, as we are doing today in this online environment. However, I'm very glad that we have managed to organize this event, being the first one in the course of our presidency, and I sincerely hope we will soon manage to meet you in person as well. As you are all aware, this conference is envisaged to gather managers of cultural institutions from the Danube Basin regions, being members of the working community of Danube regions as part of Vojvodina's presidency. This panel aims at improving the cooperation between cultural institutions and their further networking based on joint projects. This conference should facilitate the improvement of cultural institutions through initiating guest appearances and exchange of artists from partner regions, organizing thematic exhibitions, literary gatherings, and guest appearances of a theater and musical ensembles. The panel, among other things, will also present the good practice examples, which will further encourage managers of cultural institutions to take advantage of the potential arising from autonomous province Vojvodina's presidency of the working community of Danube regions. With culture being the topic we are dealing with today, I would like to point out that we have already invited members of the working community to visit various cultural events that happened in the last period in 2021, such as Styria Theatre Festival, the most prestigious theatre festival in Serbia. I would also like to bring your attention to the events like Kaleidoscope of Culture, International Video Festival, Video Medea, Tamburica Fest, Corzo concert organized in Navisad, and many others. We will keep informing you and inviting you to cultural events that will be organized in Vojvodina in the forthcoming period. And I'm very thankful that so many directors and representatives of cultural institutions joined us today, and that we will have opportunity to hear what are the best examples of good practices in the last period, but also we are very happy to hear the plans for the next year, 2022. I hope this conference will be fruitful and give us new ideas, new connections, which will result with the new joint projects. I wish you all a pleasant and successful conference. We hope to have opportunity to meet you in person soon. This is for our guests and our representatives of Lower Austria and Bulgaria. I wish you all the best in the forthcoming period, and also happy holidays, New Year and Christmas in next time. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, esteemed Mrs. Andrić, for your detailed presentation. And now we are pleased to have Mrs. Dragana Milošević, the Provincial Secretary for Culture, Public Information and Relations with Religious Communities. The floor is yours, Mrs. Milošević.
Thank you very much, Mitar. Esteemed Governor of Lower Austria, Mrs. Mikl-Leitner, dear President of the Working Group, Mrs. Andrić, dear representatives of the city of Novi Sad and Navisad, European Capital of Culture Foundation, directors of cultural institutions, dear friends. In the recent period, the Provincial Secretariat for Culture, Public Information and Relations with Religious Communities has been strongly committed to international cooperation and has made a lasting contribution to the activities of the Working Group for the Autonomous Province of Vojvodine's Presidency of the Working Community of Danube Regions in 2021 and 2022. This panel, the first of many that will hopefully be organized in the future, is envisaged to be an encounter of directors of cultural institutions under the auspices of the Autonomous Province of Vojvodine and City of Novi Sad to exchange ideas with international partners aimed to improving the cooperation among cultural institutions of the Danube Basin countries in the framework of the Autonomous Province of Vojvodine's Presidency. This specified aim is one of the most significant ones in the sphere of culture, taking into account the fact that additional networking of cultural institutions through joint projects is a lasting value promoted in the said initiative. There is a wide range of possibilities for the improvement of cooperation, some of which could include guest appearances of artists from partner regions, organization of thematic exhibitions, improvement of cooperation and exchange of experience in the field of cultural heritage, organization of literary evenings, guest appearances of theater and musical ensembles, co-production of contemporary art, and many other segments in the field of culture. By presenting positive examples at this panel from the abundance of previous practice and by exchanging ideas, directors of cultural institutions would be additionally encouraged to enter this type of international cooperation more intensely and take advantage of the potential of Autonomous Province of Vojvodine's Presidency of the Working Community of Danube Regions. A positive example of international cooperation that we would like to mention here are the previous activities of the Provincial Secretariat for Culture, Public Information and Relations with Religious Communities concerning the cooperation with the Lower Austria. In February 2020, I had the delegation visiting the Lower Austria, and let me express my special thanks to Mrs. Mikl-Leitner and Mrs. Katka Krejcova for their hosting that. One of the delegation members was Zoran Đerić, a PhD manager of the Serbian National Theatre, and as a result, cooperation was arranged concerning a very important project, the co-production of the Madame Butterfly ballet performance. This ballet performance, as a co-production of the Serbian National Theatre and Europa Ballet from St. Polten, was performed in May and June 2021, sparking great interest amongst the wider public. The project has a significant international dimension. First of all, because members of the production team come from several European countries, Austria, Germany, Slovenia, and Japan. It should be underlined that in addition to the Provincial Secretariat for Culture, the support was provided by the Novi Sad European Capital of Culture Foundation and the EU-Japan Fest from Tokyo. Furthermore, I would like to mention the Danube Conference on Culture organized at the end of October 2020, in which I also participated. The conference was titled Shaping Solidarity by Culture, and its main topics included cultural heritage, cultural tourism, audience development, and creative ideas concerning the Danube region culture. In addition, the Lower Austria representatives listed the provincial government as their official partner and added the logo in their official documents. Another form of successful cooperation of cultural institutions that we would like to emphasize as an example of good practice is the exhibition of the Museum of Vojvodine and Museum of the Lower Austria titled Vojvodina and Lower Austria Intercultural Connection, and I think that it's still working title. This exhibition will be based on ethnology collections. The curators from both museums will identify the intercultural elements between these two regions. Efforts will also be made to connect the elements contained in national intangible cultural heritage lists concerning both regions. Implementation of the exhibition will be followed by the exchange of experts from Vojvodina on the basis of research scholarship awarded by the government of Lower Austria. The exhibition will be displayed at the Grand Hall of the Museum of Vojvodina from October 25 till December 15, 2022, and you are all invited. It should be emphasized that the Provincial Secretariat is the holder of the cross-border cooperation project with Hungary, financed from the EU IPA program. The project aims to raising the awareness of the importance of cultural heritage as the public good among young people. The awareness of the importance of cultural heritage in a cross-border region through innovative use of the media. The project envisages the organization of workshops and conservation and preservation of cultural heritage in Navisad and Szeged for secondary school students and students of architecture and visual arts, study tour for students, organization of roundtables, including the participation of experts in protection of cultural heritage in Serbia and Hungary. Strong European dimension to this project identifies the culture and education issues shared in the cross-border region, unites young people from the region, raises the awareness of common history, cultural heritage, and values through innovative use of the media and ICT. The topics focused on cultural heritage and cultural diversity in a multicultural Europe are currently of vital importance to young people. Projects are understanding through gaining knowledge of the cultural heritage in the region, as well as reaching the insufficiently represented young people. Finally, I would like to give my regards to all participants in this panel and wish all of you best of luck and success, of course, in your further work. The Provincial Secretariat for Culture, Public Information and Relations with Religious Communities will continue its strong commitment to cultural exchange at the international level, as this remains the main mission to all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mrs. Milosevic, for the detailed presentation of the cultural policy of the Autonomous Province of Vojvodina and many proposals for the future cooperation in the area of culture with our partners from the Danube region. And now we have one promotional video. It's Bač Fortress video. This project won European Union Prize for Cultural Heritage and Europe and Austria Awards for 2018. So we will watch this promotional video, which lasts for 7 minutes right now.
In the northwest of the Republic of Serbia, in the AP of Vojvodina, there's a historic place of Bač that, along with its surroundings, keeps some valuable cultural and historic heritage. It's a testimony to the 8 millennia of constant human presence in the region and to the interaction with nature. Through its history, Bač has always been a border area, experiencing its pinnacle periods at times when powerful empires were encountering each other on the Danube River. Wide territories were defended here and power converged. It was a place where people met, exchanged goods, spread ideas and arts. It was a place of coexistence, where various ethnic and religious communities moved to and from. Some outstanding monuments stand witness to interlaced cultures featuring both the Romanesque and Gothic styles, early Italian Renaissance, and the Ottoman heritage, the miraculous world of late Byzantium and the period of Baroque. The Bač Fortress, a symbol of Bač and its most imposing heritage, is situated on the Mostonga River meander, connecting this historic town with the main waterway, the Danube. Enchanting architectural and archaeological remains of the fortress built in the period of the Hungarian kingdom between the 14th and 16th centuries, today testify to the erstwhile might and beauty. It's a type of water town adapted for defense in the marshy land. It also has its outer defense tower, the Barbican. From the top of the donjon tower, the entire fertile plain, the waterways and the land roads were being watched over as they were intersecting in Bač, connecting Central Europe, the Balkans and the Mediterranean world. In the early 21st century, this cultural property of outstanding value was in a very bad state. The donjon tower interior suffered a fire and the walls were covered with overgrowth. In 2003, led by the fortress's values and significance and the rising interest of the Bač municipality, the Provincial Institute for the Protection of Cultural Monuments, Vojvodine, started with the investigations and intervention works on the donjon tower.
Pronalaženje rešenja za veliki stepen degradacije donjon kule, analiza intervencija 60. godina 20. veka kada je rekonstruisanja gornje etaže i krov donjon kule i njeno oživljavanje poslužili su kao nukleus za nastanak projekta Vekovi Bača 2006. godine. Ovaj projekat je doneo novi metodološki pristup, integrativni pristup i holistički, kojim je u stvari omogućeno da se ovo nasleđe istovremeno istražuje, da se radi tehnička konzervacija i potom podiže svest lokalne zajednice i stručne javnosti o vrednostima ovog nasleđa.
After the conservation works, the donjon tower was finally fit for modern age use on all its 5 levels. A museum exhibition, according to a concept developed by Nebojša Stanojev from the Museum of Vojvodine, was arranged on 2 levels.
Sveobuhvatna istraživanja južnog i istočnog sektora utvrđenog zamka, kao i konzervacija njegovih ostataka, učinile su osnove bedema i kula sa kapijom ponovo vidljivom.
Rapid deterioration of the complex west section tower and ramparts was arrested with interventions on the square tower, the chapel tower, and on the tower with corbels. The works were also significant for applying old craft techniques and reviving the method of making mortar with unburnt lime, using local raw material. The Faculty of Technology, University of Navisad, dedicated its efforts to studying the conservation material.
Počeli smo sa ispitivanjem, to je s karakterizacijom strukture i sastava istorijskih materijala, opeka, maltera, stenskog materijala, da bi posle nastavili sa projektovanjem i proizvodnjom novih materijala, konsolidanata i hiromat suspenzije.
The Bač fortress investigations were made an integral part of the European Hieromat project, as its focus was on cultural heritage protection. That was a period when a cultural heritage material testing laboratory was established at the Faculty of Technology, thus linking its education mission to the scientific investigations on the fortress. Today, the fortress is open to tourists, students, conservators, scientists, and others. It is equipped to hold manifestations, the European Heritage Days in particular, an event that has been going on since 2003. In its full glory, the fortress celebrates multiculturalism. The fortress is also used for holding workshops with children from the Vuk Karadžić Primary School of Bač, having a special place as little heritors and future curators. Since 2010, a summer school of architecture has been going on, training a new generation of conservators from Serbia and the region. In 2006, resulting from the project, Centuries of Bač Fund was established, and then an educational centre in the suburb. The fortress is fully equipped for use, with a CCTV monitoring and decorative lighting, which was made possible through IPA cross-border collaboration programs Serbia-Hungary. An integrated approach to the Bač fortress conservation resulted in numerous international collaboration programs and in renewal of other cultural monuments in the Bač area. The Bojani Orthodox Monastery and the Franciscan Monastery, with the restoration of a Turkish bath as the next step. Owing to the integrated approach and the valorization of the Bač fortress area, the entire territory of Bač and its surroundings is viewed as a single cultural landscape complex. Bearing an obligation to keep the story alive and sustainable in its beauty, a network of participants have been formed through the Centuries of Bač project, which is spreading constantly to form a platform called United Towards New Values, leaving the unique and authentic Butch fortress to acclimatize to crowds of loyal children. I like my fortress! After a long time of solitude and oblivion, new times are on the horizon, attracting new visitors, brought by their awareness that besides just reminiscing the past, this heritage is also a true European and world asset.
Yes, so with this promotional video of Butch Fortress, which won Europe and Austria Award for 2018, we have finished the first part of today's conference, and we are continuing. In the second part, Vladimir Radmanovic, the head of the program support sector in charge of the international cooperation of the Foundation European Capital Culture, we'll talk about the organization of program activities within the implementation of the title Navisad European Capital of Culture 2022. Please take the floor, Mr. Radmanovic. Yes, here.
Hello, everyone. My name is Vladimir Radmanovic, and as I was introduced, I am in charge of international relations team within the foundation Navisad European Capital of Culture, no more 2021. Sorry, force of habit. On behalf of the foundation, thank you for the invitation to this conference, and on behalf of my director, Mr. Nemanja Milenkovic, I send his regrets for not being able to participate due to previous obligations. As head of international relations, I can speak the best about international relations within the foundation. The goal of the foundation from the very start was to improve and enable opportunities for international relations, because based on some research done in 2015 and 2016, it was suggested that this is the area that should be boosted in Novi Sad. So the mission of the foundation from the very start was to help link local stakeholders and local institutions of culture with European ones. Part of the strategic approach of the foundation are four pillars that are consisted of people, processes, places, and programs. So this first part in the preparatory period was dedicated to people to help them gain necessary skills and to set networking events in order to boost future partnerships. In this regard, we had very immense help from cities such as Linz and Pech, who were European Capitals of Culture, as well as city of Ulm from Germany, who shared their know-hows and their experience with us and help us understand how big this project actually is. Also, I would like to stress the cooperation with the unique cluster, Serbia, which is cluster of cultural centers, foreign cultural centers working in Serbia, and among them, I would like to stress cooperation with the French Institute and Austrian Cultural Forum, who were, again, very valuable partners in sharing and connecting us with partners from these two countries. Also, I would like to stress that during this preparatory period, in order to boost cooperation, we collaborated with Fund European Affairs of the Autonomous Province of Vojvodine in organizing trainings for cultural workers in order to boost their capacities to write EU projects. And this, of course, later extended to the non-governmental organizations. Other networking events that I would like to stress are also Culture Bus, which we organized with the city of Osijek and city of Timisoara, connecting workers from institutions of culture from these cities, and as well as conference planting partnerships, where we actually invited our institutions to say which partners they would like to bring to Novi Sad and to collaborate with. All of this cooperation actually resulted in projects and programs that we will present in the following year that will start in about a month. And I would like to, as an example of good practice, speak a bit about 4 projects. First one is an exhibition of feminist avant-garde, which is being done in collaboration with the Museum of Contemporary Arts of Vojvodine and the Sammlung Verbund collection from Vienna, where we will show trends of European and Austrian feminist avant-garde in Novi Sad for the first time. Also, another exhibition, which is organized by the Gallery of Matica Srpska in cooperation with the Art Museum from Timisoara, will feature works of artists that lived in the historical territory of Banat, which was once part of a larger empire of Austro-Hungarian Empire, which actually both traditions, Romanian and Serbian, think of as important parts of cultural heritage. Another exhibition in collaboration with the city of Ulm and state of Baden-Württemberg, which will be featured in the gallery Rajko Mamuzic here in Novi Sad, is called Art on the Stream. It will feature a collection of artists, contemporary artists from the Danube region from 8 countries. And lastly, but not the least, in November, we will have a theater festival called Synergy in organization of Vojvode Kisinha's or Novi Sad Theater, which will feature collaborations with theaters from Romania, Hungary, and Germany. Of course, this is just a little part of the program. I would like also to say that among 8 topics that we will cover next year, one of them is dedicated to the Danube region. It's called Danube Sea. And here we will put special focus on featuring artists from this region, from the Danube region. So yeah, I wouldn't like to hold you any further. I mean, I am a bit unfair because I only focused on several projects and there are many, many more, but I feel that my colleagues from other institutions of culture will present some other examples. And I would like to use this opportunity to invite you to our opening ceremony, which is happening on the 13th of January in Novi Sad. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Radmanovic. Novi Sad will be a hotspot next year that is starting for 15 days from now, or official opening on the 13th of January. So we heard 8 pillars, and we know that we will have a couple of hundreds, even 1,000 events, which will be organized next year. So 365 days. So we expect many visitors to come to the city next year. Thank you one more time. And now we will continue with Mrs. Zorica Šijak, who is head of the City Administration for Culture in the city of Novi Sad. And she will talk more about the activities of Novi Sad in the implementation of different activities in the field of culture. Mrs. Šijak will have her presentation in Serbian language. So Vesna is here, our translator, and we will start now, please.
Dobar dan svima. Ja ću na srpskom jeziku jer je došlo do malog nesporazuma, nisam razumela da treba na engleskom, pa izvinite, molim vas, što će biti i prevod.
I will address you in Serbian and via interpretation because there has been a little misunderstanding and I haven't prepared my speech in English. So hello everyone again.
Dobar dan, moje ime je Zorica Šijak, ja sam vršila dužnosti načelnika Gradske uprave za kulturu grada Novog Sada.
Hello, my name is Zorica Šijak. I am the acting head of city administration for culture of the city of Novi Sad.
Hvala vam na pozivu da učestvujemo u ovoj konferenciji i da damo svoj mali doprinos.
Thank you very much for inviting me to participate in this panel conference and for allowing me to give a little contribution to this event.
Tema o kojoj bi trebalo da razgovaramo je u susret Evropskoj prestonici kulture i ono sve što mi radimo od 2016. godine, od tog trenutka pa do danas, u stvari ide ka tom smeru, ka Evropskoj prestonici kulture.
The topic towards the European Capital of Culture is actually everything that our activities have been focused about ever since 2016 to the present day, what we have been doing to prepare for the title of the European Capital of Culture.
Međutim, moram napomenuti, gradska uprava i administracija, dakle, u okviru svojih nadležnosti mi imamo poslove koje smo obavezni da obavljamo.
I must point out that the city administration is, well, it's the administration that has culture as number one, but within our competences, we have several different activities that we perform.
Planiranje razvoja delatnosti i kulture i informisanja.
One of them is planning the development of culture and informing.
Obezbeđivanje sredstava za zadovoljavanje potreba u ovim oblastima i nadzor nad korišćenjem tih sredstava.
We also provide the funds to meet the needs required in these fields, as well as the monitoring over the use of these funds.
Praćenje i obezbeđivanje funkcionisanja ustanova kulture, kojih moram da napomenem trenutno imamo 13, jedno je u osnivanju i fondacije.
We monitor and provide for the proper functioning of the cultural institutions founded by the city of Novi Sad. There are 13 such institutions and one more coming, plus one foundation.
Nama je svaka ustanova, bez obzira na njenu veličinu, veoma važna za razvoj kulture Novog Sada. Napomenut ću samo neke: Zavod za zaštitu spomenika kulture, Biblioteka grada Novog Sada, Sterijino pozorje, dva pozorišta u gradu, kulturne centre.
Each institution, regardless of its size, is very important to us when it comes to development of culture of Novi Sad. I would like to mention just a few of them. For example, Institute for Protection of Monuments, the library, the Youth Theatre, Serbian National Theatre, Novi Sad Theatre, Stereo, Film Theatre, and cultural centers of Novi Sad.
Pored ustanova koje smo u ovom periodu razvijali kapacitete, jer to je ono što radimo, nove prostori i dakle postojećih objekata prostore koje smo obnovili, grad je dobio nove prostore, a to su kulturne stanice, novi koncept, nova snaga za jačanje kapaciteta kulture, dakle ne samo za ustanove, nego i za nezavisnu scenu.
All right, so in addition to the institutions, cultural institutions, and owing to this project, European Capital of Culture, in addition to the existing objects, we have renovated all of them. The city has also acquired some new space, and these are actually the cultural stations. They are characterized by a new concept, new power for strengthening the capacities of culture. So not only when it comes to institutions, but also when it comes to independent scene.
I kao što sam rekla, kao administracija, prvo što smo uradili 2016. godine, doneli smo strategiju razvoja kulture grada Novog Sada, a odmah zatim i dvogodišnje akcione planove koji su sadržali konkretne zadatke kojima smo samo pomerali napred kulturu grada.
When it comes to the steps that the city administration has already taken, first of all, we have adopted a strategy of development of culture for Novi Sad in the period of 2016 to 2026, and right afterwards, the 2-year action plans with concrete tasks that only secured further development and promotion of the city culture.
Opet kao rezultat titula Evropske prestonice kulture i svaka od 33 ustanove kulture u Novom Sadu, bez obzira kojoj je osnivač, donela je svoju strategiju razvoja, što je jedinstven projekat sam po sebi u ovom regionu.
As a result of the European Capital of Culture title, each of the 33 cultural institutions in Novi Sad, regardless of the basis, has adopted its own development strategy, which is a unique project on its own.
Grad Novi Sad, kao što sam rekla, ima 13 ustanova kulture i fondaciju koje realizuju programe. Ja neću nabrajati sve, međutim moram da se obratim u ime pojedinih ustanova koje svoje programe realizuju u okviru podunavskog regiona.
The city of Novi Sad, as I already said, has 13 cultural institutions and 14th being in the process of establishing, and the foundation Novi Sad, European Capital of Culture. I will not list all of them, but I will have to mention a few of them that have some relations with the Danube group and working community of Danube regions.
Biblioteka grada Novog Sada sarađuje sa bibliotekama u Kečkemetu i Pečuju.
For example, the library of the city of Novi Sad cooperates with the libraries in Kecskemét and Pécs in Hungary.
Sterino pozorje je u pregovorima da jedna predstava na narednim danima Sterino pozorja bude iz Podunavske regije.
The Stereo Film Festival is negotiating that one play in the future period of the Stereo Film Festival be from the Danube region.
Kulturni centar grada Novog Sada ubedljivo najviše sarađuje sa Podunavskim regionom. Tu imamo letnju jazz akademiju Novi Sad Dortmund.
The Cultural Center Novi Sad has the greatest number of and forms of cooperation with the Danube Basin. For example, Novi Sad, the Dortmund Jazz Academy, we cooperate with Culture Bureau from Dortmund and Jazz Academy.
Filmska redakcija sarađuje sa Austrijskim kulturnim forumom i GT Festom, Dani nemačkog filma.
The film desk cooperates with the Austrian Cultural Forum, the Days of Austrian Film, and the Goethe Festival or Days of German Film.
Infant Festival sledeće godine će imati saradnju sa Burgtheater iz Beča.
Infant Festival will cooperate next year with Burg Theater from Vienna.
U okviru programa Naš Dunav, koji je i u zvaničnom programu Evropske prestonice kulture, programski luk Dunavsko more, sarađivat ćemo sa likovnim udruženjem Dortmund grupe.
As part of the program Our Danube, which is in the official program of the European Capital of Culture 2022, we will cooperate with the Fine Arts Association Dortmunder grupe from Dortmund.
Sad, Gradska uprava za kulturu ipak ima i saradnju, naravno, iskustva na projektima. Ja ću spomenuti samo jedan koji je pod nazivom Cinema, kreativne industrije for New Urban Economies in Danube region. Glavni cilj je definisanje inovativnog modela saradnje u Dunavskom regionu.
The city administration also cooperates in some certain number of projects. I will mention briefly one. It's called Cinema, Creative Industries for Urban Economies in the Danube region. And its main purpose is defining of the innovative model of cooperation in the Danube region.
Partneri na ovom projektu u Srbiji, osim regionalne agencije Bačka, grada Sombora i samog grada Novog Sada, učesnici su iz Slovenije, Nemačke, Austrije, Slovačke. Rok za završetak ovog projekta je 2022. godina i dobar primer u Novom Sadu i naše kulturne stanice Svilara će se preneti i na grad Sombor, gde će se razviti kreativne industrije u jednom industrijskom prostoru. Dakle, model koji postoji u Novom Sadu će biti tamo primenjen.
The partners in this project, apart from Serbian Regional Development Agency Bačka, the City of Sombor and City of Novi Sad, other partners include certain chambers of commerce and institutions from Slovenia, Germany, Austria, Slovakia, etc. And the deadline for this project completion is 2022. Its ultimate goal, its ultimate product will be that the example of Novi Sad Svilara will be transferred in and created in, according to this model, Svilara in Sombor will also be developed, as well as other creative industries in the industrial area of Vojvodina.
I kao što ste čuli u ovom kratkom izlaganju, dakle, saradnje ima, međutim, postoji još mesta da se saradnja unapredi u nekom narednom periodu. Zaposleni u ustanovama kulture su naravno raspoloženi da stiču nova znanja i da svoje iskustva prenose i svoju dobru praksu. Pozivam vas sve da posetite Novi Sad u 2022. godini, jer ima sigurno mnogo kvalitetnog programa koji može da se vidi. Hvala vam.
So as you have seen, there is a certain number of established cooperation and projects, but there is also room for improvement and for extension. We are also prepared and ready to share our practice and our experience with other partners. And we would like to invite you to visit Navisad in 2022 because there will be a lot of good quality programs to see and experience. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mrs. Šiak, for a detailed presentation, organization of the institution of culture on the level of the city of Novi Sad, your plans and for cooperation, international cooperation, and some innovative programs which you have presented right now. And with this presentation, we have finished the second part of today's event. So we will start with the third part. Senka Petrovic, Project Manager, Advisor for EU programs and funds and international cooperation, will speak on the topic of possibilities from improving the cooperation of cultural institutions from the Danube Basin region from the point of view of the Serbian National Theatre from Novi Sad. Mrs. Petrovic, floor is now yours, please.
Thank you, Mitar. Mrs. Secretary, Mrs. President, ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, first let me send you regards of our intendant, Mr. Zoran Đerić, PhD, who is unfortunately not in possibility to be here because previous obligations. But it's my honor to represent to you all the Serbian National Theatre, the first, oldest, largest, and the most important theatre institution of Serbian nation. In 2021, we are celebrating a great jubilee, the 160th anniversary of its founding and constant work. The mission of Serbian National Theatre for all 160 years is to preserve and promote the national drama, opera, music, and ballet theatre heritage, and at the same time actively participate in the development of the audience by standing the most important works of world historical and contemporary theatre productions. Also, at the same time, we preserve and contribute to Serbian and international theatrology through our publishing activities with representative works from dramaturgy, theatrology, and critics of theatrical art. The Serbian National Building covers more than 20,000 square meters, which houses the ensembles of the opera with choir and orchestra, drama and ballet, while the performances are performed on the three stages, big, small, and chamber. The big stage, Jovan Đorđević, named after the first SNT's intendant, is the largest theatre stage in Serbia and Balkan with almost 1,000 seats in the auditorium. The rehearsal rooms for the ballet, orchestra, and choir are located in SNT's building. Workshops for making complete costumes, props, and lighter scenography are also located in the building, while Kombinat, which produce heavy equipment and decor, is in another location in the city. Serbian National Theatre is well-coordinated and well-oiled creativity machinery with almost 600 employees and externally engaged associates. As far as cooperation with provincial and national culture institutions is concerned, we can proudly say that we are successfully cooperating with all representative institutions in the city and province, and I'm very glad to see all our closest partners gather here on the panel today, because experience can show us that together we are stronger and better, whether through partnership or inspired by healthy competition. The main goals of SNT's international cooperation are to contribute to the spread of national theatre creativity, to development of internal structure, to the development, the skills and techniques of artists and technical staffs, and the position of the Serbian National Theatre of the regional, European, and world culture map. In the last 2 decades, there have been a very significant expansion in the field of international cooperation in the world's frame. The projects of all 3 artistic departments of SNTs contribute to that expansion: drama, opera, and ballet. Dozens of co-production projects have been realized with over 400 guest appearances and participations in international festivals during just the first 2 decades of 21st century, from where S&T's productions and artists has returned home each time as winners of prizes and awards. At the same time, all 3 S&T stages have been hosting many artists and projects on their boards. Most of realized international cooperation, of course, was played in the countries of the region and the whole of Europe, but we also reached, for example, Mexico, Lebanon, South Korea, and China. Visibility of all activities is widely available on the official website of the Serbian National Theatre, profiles of social networks, and using the mobile application of the theatre. Our founder is the province of Vojvodine, and in all our activities and efforts, Serbian National Theatre has strong and constant support, primarily from the Secretary of Culture, Public Information and Relations with the religious communities of the province of Vojvodine, as well as the city of Navisad and the Ministry of Culture and Information, Republic of Serbia. We should definitely mention the support of embassies and culture centers of foreign countries in the Republic of Serbia, with which we have a cooperation, and equally Serbian ambassadors and consulates abroad, where we work intensively as a team, because no matter how artistic, sociological, and historical significance of international cooperation has one culture institution, in the same time it represents the ambassador of the city, province, state, and nation. The Serbian National Theatre is proud that the province of Vojvodina is chairing the working community of the Danube regions this year, and we feel an even greater responsibility to contribute with our projects in the long-term improvement of cooperation between culture institutions. The Serbian National Theatre has had and still has cooperation with all countries of the Danube Basin, while it is most intensive with theatres and festivals in Slovakia, Bulgaria, Romania, Hungary, and Austria. Only in the last 2 years, protocols on long-term artistic and technical cooperation have been signed or confirmed with the theatre from Trnava, national operas from Timisoara, Varna, Plovdiv, and Budapest. As for the cooperation with Austrian theatres, it will be my honor and pleasure to present one of each of our art department's project, which we rightly consider examples of a good practice of international cooperation. For the first time in the world, a play based by the novel of Nobel laureate Peter Handke, Goalkeeper's Fear of Penalties, was realized with the support of one of our stronger partners, Austrian Culture Forum from Belgrade. With his work, Peter Handke undoubtedly influences readers all over the world, and it is superfluous to talk about the importance of his work and social public of Serbia. Already during the preparation, there was a significant interest of readership, which expected to see one of the most read works of this Nobel Prize winner on the stage. The pre-premiere and the premiere pointed out that the great interest in the play is expected during the repertoire performances. Therefore, the target group is extremely wide and includes all generations. In addition to people who are familiar with the work of Peter Handke, there are also those who became interested in his novels after this play, which is certainly one of the most positive influences of this performance, the promotion of different and related arts. The play equally satisfied the taste of critics and the audience. Please, let me now just share you a little teaser. So, just a second. Sorry. Yeah, here we are.
Jednom nogom na tlu, drugom na platformi broda. Pasoš, pasoš, jesi li spakovao, našao mesto, smestio dobro. Želim ti mirno more, želim sunčan dan, noć sa mesečinom.
And I hope that I'm now back. Yeah. No, I'm not. Sorry. Now I am. Thank you. The S&T's opera with the project 2018-3044 Cross Opera is a winner of a grant of the Creative Europe sub-program Culture, which is realized in cooperation Opala. Sorry. Now, please excuse me for this. Okay. So, back to Cross Opera. This is the project which we realized with the cooperation with Teatro Comunale Pavarotti Freni di Modena from Italy and Lades Theater Linz from Austria. The goal of the project is to co-produce a new opera on the topic Otherness, Fear and Discovery based on the problem of intercultural conflicts and integrations. The same topic developed through 3 stories related to current migrations to European Union countries. The librettos and compositions lasting 30 minutes per act were commissioned by 3 librettists and 3 composers representing their country. Serbia is represented by librettist and composer of Navisad, Mrs. Jasmina Mitrušić. Each theater gave 4 musicians and 2 singers under the age of 30. The author's team is composed of artists from all 3 countries, director and dramaturg from Austria, costume and set designer from Italy, conductor and concertmeister from Serbia. The opera is sung in Serbian, German, and Italian language, and the subtitles are shown in the official languages of the countries where the opera is performed. Reaching new and wider audience, intercultural and interfaith dialogue, respect for different cultures and culture expressions, and facilitating the integrations of refugees are Cross Opera's priorities as one of the basis perspective of the Creative Europe. The Serbian National Theatre is the first national theatre and theatre in the region who got the grant of the Creative Europe sub-program Culture. In August and September 2021, musical rehearsals of Serbian and Austrian act are realized with great successes in Novi Sad and Linz. The 3rd phase of the rehearsal took place in Modena from November 16 this year. On the 3rd December, just before 2 weeks, we are successfully performed the Italian premiere of Cross Opera in Modena, as well as a rerun on December 5th. The planned premiere in Austria has been postponed again due to the COVID situation, but in the January 20, it will be premiere in the Serbian National Theatre on the big stage Jovan Đorđević, as well as a rerun 22nd of January, and you are all invited to come. I'm now very pleased just to give you one little part of Serbian act, what is performed in Modena. Neće? Onda idemo dalje. Dobro, kad neće. Nema veze. Regarding the topic for which we gathered today, we can say that Serbian National Theatre Ballet Department was perhaps the most represented to the Danube cooperation with the project Madam Butterfly, as it's, well, Mrs. Milošević already mentioned, realized in co-production with company Europa Ballet from St. Pölten and with support of state institutions whose representatives are here with us. In the first place, Secretary of Culture of Province of Vojvodine and the government of the Province of Lower Austria, then the Foundation, Novi Sad, European Capital of Culture, EU Japan Fest Committee, as well as the support of Ministry of Culture and Information Republic of Serbia. During the coronavirus pandemic, the art of ballet and ballet artists were in the most unavailable position of all performing arts and artists, due to the uniqueness of human contexts without which the tribal dance is not possible on the stage. But we overcome that as well, and we succeeded. As the only international and co-production ballet project in this part of Europe, Madam Butterfly premiered twice in May and again in June this year. We are still waiting for the date of Austrian premiere, and we plan to perform the project in Japan, where there is interest in our project. Let me try again, just a little bit. As you can see, how many the supporters and friends of this project is here. Thank you. And it is also important to mention the capital work of Serbian National Theatre publishing activity. Although there's have been an electronic edition for several years, for the first time in 3 volumes will be published the Encyclopedia of the Serbian National Theatre, a work that pays tributes to all those who have worked on the continuity of the theatre life in Serbia in the past 160 years, and that provides guidance to contemporaries and future generation of theatre professionals and audiences. During 2022, the Serbian National Theatre have planned at least 1 project a month that is part of the official program of European Capital of Culture in Novi Sad with the support of numerous partners. We are also honored that the official opening ceremony will take place in the Serbian National Theatre on January 13, 2022. With each project, guest appearances, participant in festivals and promotions through digital media, the international influence and the desire of foreign colleagues to cooperate with Serbian National Theatre grows. With strong internal infrastructure, reconstruction of technical equipment, and above all, by investing in the artistic, technical, media, and no less important organizational qualities and the strength of this theatre, the Serbian National Theatre is ready for further international challenges and successes to joy and proud of Novi Sad, province of Vojvodine, and the Serbian National Theatre art and culture. With a hope and invitation for new mutual cooperation and best wishes, I sincerely thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Dear Senka, thank you for this detailed presentation. We all feel and see that you're very enthusiastic about your work and the work of the Serbian National Theatre. And I think this is a clear invitation, especially for our friends from the Danube Basin, to visit this institution of culture whenever they can, maybe next year. So we will continue with the program, and now we will hear how the opportunities for cooperation with good example practice are perceived from the angle of the Museum of Vojvodina. And the presentation will be given by Tijana Stanković-Pešterac, director of these prestigious cultural institutions. Mr. Pešterac, if you please.
Thank you. Good morning. Let me share my presentation first. Good morning, everyone. Again, thank you for inviting me for this panel. It's very important to share our experience as the biggest museum in the territory of autonomous province of Vojvodina. Let me introduce myself. I'm the director of the Museum of Vojvodina. I'm also an archaeologist. So I've been working in the museum for 15 years. I will talk about the Danubian region cooperation, about our good practice examples. And first of all, I would like to say a few words about the museum where I work. It is the biggest complex museum in Serbia. It is one of the less known facts, but we have over 200,000 of objects of different provenance. They are from archaeological, archaeobotanical, archaeozoological, art historical, and ethnological provenance. And we also are the regional museum, which means that we are a kind of mother institution for all the museums within the territory of the autonomous province of Vojvodina, which is also our founder. We had a lot of international cooperation that we are dealing with right now, but also we had a lot of previous cooperations, and I would like to mention a few of them. One of them was very fruitful, and it happened in 2009, and it was the direct communication with the Donau-Schwäbisches Zentralmuseum in Ulm in Germany. And there was a big exhibition that we created together. It was called Homeland on the Danube. And it told about the fate of the Danube Swabians within the territory of Vojvodina. The other exhibition was an exhibition that we participated in by loaning objects and from our museum and from museums also from other museums in our country. And it was created last year in Schalaburg Castle. It was a really large exhibition on this in this wonderful fortress. And it was called Danube, People, Treasures and Cultures from the Black Sea to Schalaburg Castle. This is, I would like to show you this picture. It's related to the previously mentioned exhibition from 2009. And it's called Daheim an der Donau, and a homeland on the Danube. Also, something which is important for this year and the next one. In 2020, we started and initiated by the Foundation 2021 Navisad European Capital of Culture. We started a cooperation that we continued as a direct communication between Museum of Vojvodina and Mrs. Katka Krejcova from the Office of the Lower Austrian Provincial Government, Department for Art and Culture, St. Pölten. And our team of curators, which means ethnologists mostly, and museum counselors, Mrs. Tatiana Bugarski and Katarina Radisavljevic, are involved directly in this cooperation. And they will also, if the COVID situation, of course, allows us, they will go on a scholarship, kind of a scholarship in Austria, in St. Pölten, trying to establish a certain exchange of experts, which is a very important thing for us. Well, I found these two interesting pictures that actually show how squares in St. Pölten and Novi Sad look like. And that might be a kind of intercultural communication, I must admit. And in 2021, we will have the joint exhibition, which will be the result of this formal communication with Mrs. Katka Krejcova and the museum in St. Pölten. And we will have the opening, which will happen on the day of the Museum of Vojvodina, on the 26th of October. And it will last until the 20th of December, as Mrs. Milosevic previously mentioned. And the joint exhibition is the result of direct communication between the experts, the curators, who will cover a topic of intercultural communication. But on the other hand, the idea is to present the most important objects that reflect the rich cultural heritage from the territory of the Lower Austria, as well as wonderful objects that are placed in the Museum of Vojvodina and that will also represent very immense cultural heritage from the territory of the province of Vojvodina. And we, as a goal of this, it would be to present Lower Austria and Novi Sad, and to present possible common cultural roots, and there are surely many of them. The opening ceremony should also be very interesting, and it could include an opportunity for the official handover of the ARGE Donauländer chairmanship to the Hungarian committee. And that's basically it in short form. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mrs. Stankovic-Pašterac, for your presentation. We are happy to see that you have already established very intensive cooperation, especially with your partners from Lower Austria. And I'm sure that this event today will give us opportunity to expand it to the all Danube Basin. And in that sense, now we are going to the Lower Austria, and via video link, we give the floor to the respected Katka Krejcova, an expert for international relations in the Department for Arts and Culture in the Office of the Regional Government of Lower Austria. Katka is very well-known persona here in Vojvodina. So Katka, floor is yours.
Well, thank you, Mitra. Dear Madam Vidosava Enderic, dear Madam Dragana Milosevic, thank you very much for organizing this awesome panel conference on culture. And today's conference is also a wonderful occasion to meet all good and valuable cooperation partners and friends from the region of Vojvodina and from Navisad. So I try now to share my screen. I hope it works. Does it work for you?
Yeah, it works.
It works for me. So let me give you a very short overview about the cultural policy in Lower Austria regarding to the full program of today. I would prefer to make my presentation a little bit shorter and to have then even more space for the discussion for all participants of this conference. So just some general facts about the Lower Austrian policy. Lower Austria is the largest state in Austria, and it has the second highest number of inhabitants. The capital is St. Pölten. Thank you, Tiana, for the nice picture, comparing picture of main squares from Novi Sad and St. Pölten. It was very nice. Over the past 30 years, investments of around 600 million euros in cultural infrastructure have been done in Lower Austria, and that has emerged an added value of 1.35 billion euros and 30,700 jobs in the cultural sector in Lower Austria. We know that overall 2.5 million of tourists visit cultural institutions and venues in Lower Austria. And next year we have a great opportunity to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Lower Austria. The cultural policy in Lower Austria is based on Cultural Funding Act from 1996 and the guidelines. This year, we have launched a new version of strategy for art and culture in Lower Austria. And for the very, very first time in the history of Lower Austria, we have launched also a brand new strategy for international relations in the field of culture for Lower Austria. So I think this would be a good point maybe to exchange about in the detail afterwards. The cultural sector has a budget about 130 million euros, and the Department for Art and Culture handles and manages many genres of culture. What is very remarkable is the structure of cultural institutions. We have external structures and companies, so-called NÖKU, Lower Austrian Cultural Commerce Holding Ltd, and the Cultural Region, which is also a Ltd. The NÖKU runs 13 LTDs, and these 13 LTDs provide 34 brands. These are festivals, these are museums, these are artists in residence, studios, and flats. Many different institutions and brands. So, and the second structure, it is cultural region. It has 5 LTDs, and this structure is dedicated to the traditional genres of culture. We have also a very new and ambitious landmarks. First of all, I would like to mention the new State Gallery of Lower Austria. This building has been opened in May 2019, and it's a very, very great landmark. It's a cube that rotates around its own axis by 26 degrees, and it is a center for Lower Austrian artists and artists somehow based in Lower Austria from the history, but also for the contemporary artists. All the time there are about 500 artworks presented in this building. The next flagship is, of course, Grafeneck Castle, which is a venue for festivals of classical music. We have 2 possibilities. We have our open air stage here on the left side. It's so-called Cloud Tower. So the visitors can enjoy musical performance in the nature, in the park. And we have also a possibility of an indoor concert hall with over 1,000 seats. And of course, the Festspielhaus St. Pölten, which also invites productions from all over of the world. The next very important cultural institution is the Schallerburg Castle, as Diana has mentioned already in her presentation. This is a Renaissance castle, and here are organized thematic exhibitions. For example, last year, the exhibition about the Danube, and the exhibition of this year, it was longing for distant lands, so kind of very well suitable as a kind of in reaction of the restrictions among this corona pandemic. It was really a very successful and attractive exhibition. Very important field of work is monuments preservation in Lower Austria. You can see we have got a lot of them, over 10,000. And in Lower Austria, we have got also 4 UNESCO World Heritage sites. The most important, of course, is the landscape heritage site Wachau. We have got also a very historical Semmering Eisenbahn. This is a historical railway. And since summer this year, we have got in Carnuntum a location which is member of the UNESCO Donaulimes that has been certified this year from Germany to Hungary, to Budapest. And we have got also in the autumn Baden, which is a spa in the south of Vienna, and it has been certificated as UNESCO Great Spas of Europe award. So, and let me just mention some very successful cooperations with partners from the region of Vojvodine and from Navisad. Beside of the previous cooperation projects, I would just go to the scholarship of the Donauländer of the working group of the Danube regions. It's our great pleasure and honor that the ethnographer of the Museum of Vojvodina, Katarina Radoslavjevic, will be able to come for a research stay to Lower Austria. I would like to mention the very successful cooperation between the Serbian National Theatre and the European Ballet St. Pölten. I would like to mention cooperation projects, the Great Liman. This project was very successful. 5 bachelors and students of the University of Applied Sciences in St. Pölten presented their artwork at the Kaleidoscope Festival in Navisad this September 2021. I would like to mention the exhibition Young Serbian Contemporary. 3 Serbian artists, Jelena Gajinovic, Andreja Kovačević, and Sara Masnikosa, have been presented in the Lower Austrian Gallery exhibition bridge in St. Pölten. And of course, due to the corona pandemic, the premiere of the co-production Madame Butterfly had to be postponed, unfortunately. And I would also like to mention the Danube Small Project Fund for Culture. This is an initiative of the Ministry for Science, Research and Art of Baden-Württemberg, and Lower Austria and the Donauländer, the working community of the Danube region, have joined this initiative, and together with other partners like City of Ulm, City of Regensburg, and some others, we have established the Danube Small Project Fund, and the official start of this funding instrument will be today at 2 p.m. and the first 5 granted projects will be presented. I would probably close with the very, very nice cooperation between Lower Austrian collections presented by the curator Rocco Leuzzi, and yes, and we prepared together a very interesting exhibition that shows not only the great cultural heritage of Lower Austria, but it shows the common cultural heritage, the common cultural roots, and the common cultural history of Lower Austria and the region of Vojvodina. And we are very looking forward for this cooperation project, and I am convinced that our curator Rocco Leuzzi will manage this project also in a great way. So please, I would like to close with very big thanks for organizing of this conference, and we very appreciate this wonderful cooperation with partners from Navisad and with partners from the autonomous province of Vojvodina. And thank you to everyone for very professional and reliable cooperations, and also for the great hospitality we expire in Novi Sad every time. So we, and me personally, we look very much for the next opportunity to visit Novi Sad and region of Vojvodina. Thank you very much. And I'm very much looking also for the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Katka. Now it's obvious why you're a very well-known person here in Vojvodina. If I got right, you already took part in 8 different activities with the different institutions here in Vojvodina. So exhibitions, project, conferences, and 2 p.m. today, we will have this start of the new mechanism for project financing. And personally, I say that I would definitely like to visit a Festspiele house and Grafening Castle. They are impressive, and I'm sure that most of the speakers share the same impression about those institutions of culture. Thank you one more time. And now we will continue in a similar manner. And we are still in Lower Austria. We are via video link. So we have Mrs. Michaela Hahn, who is director of the Association of Music and Art Schools in Lower Austria, and Mrs. Veronica Lassen, head of the Division for Education in the Association of Music and Art Schools in Lower Austria. Please take the floor.
Thank you so much, and congratulations to this wonderful panel. We are very happy to attend this conference and to learn about different cooperations. Our company is the Music and Art Schools Management of Lower Austria, and we have a lot of cooperations on a European level with the European Music School Union, and actually with Alexander Duric from Novi Sad, the music school director, who was in the board of European Music School Union with me for 3 years. So we are looking forward to strengthening the cooperation to other countries through learning through their music school systems. And it's also a main focus of my personal interest, as I was a professor for music school research and initiator of a network of European music school research, which now are 300 researchers from over 25 European countries. In Lower Austria, we have a lot of flagships, and we have also a really lively wonderful, diverse cultural scene, and the motor of this landscape are the music schools, or one of the most important motors, because it's about cultural education of the youth. And in Lower Austria, every 3rd child is in a music school and is learning an instrument, dancing. And so we are looking forward to strengthening our cooperation to other music school systems through sustainable cooperation projects, and also to learn about the cultural scenes in other countries, and also the orchestral landscapes. In this aspect, we have 2 main topics where we want to cooperate even more. The one is the orchestral landscape. We have very wonderful youth orchestras in Lower Austria, 3, the symphonic orchestra, the wind orchestra, and a jazz orchestra. And an exchange with other countries would enable our youth to get to know other music school pupils from other countries and experiencing performances in other contexts, and at best forming relationships and even friendships with a lifelong impact on the cooperation between countries. The second topic is one that is quite unique in Austria. Lower Austria has started to develop music and art schools. That's quite historic, as Austria is about one of the only countries in Europe who has only music schools. So we have been focusing on music. And in Lower Austria, we are right now implementing visual arts and media arts and drama and theater in our successful and rich music school system. And as we know, there are rich traditions in our neighbor countries, especially in the Danube Basin area, of art education schools. We are looking forward here to future sustainable working relations, and my colleague Veronica Larsen will talk about this. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And yeah, I would just continue the information Michaela just gave. We actually started this year to develop music and art schools in Lower Austria. This is a regional project, so not each music school is developing all the new subjects. The music schools, like 4 or 5 to 6 music school, work together to develop regional music school, music and art schools. And we are hereby working to enable all existing program of Lower Austrian Kreativakademien, so creative academies we have since 2015. And we are focusing to grow into a structure that allows the children to have a constructive curriculum. So children from 6 to 24 years can improve their artistic skills in these music and art schools. They offer subjects like theater, dance, painting and drawing, sculpture, artistic writing, film and photography. So it's a really wide range of artistic skills that children and young people can develop. And the music and art schools work with specially qualified art teachers. This is also for us is a very important fact. So they are artists and teachers as well. So they know all the artistic methods as well, and working with young people. And the music and art school management is creating frequent meetings with the art teachers to support the discourse on artistic and educational matters. And one possibility is that we are creating some space, maybe online, or even when we can visit each other again in the future, to share this experience we make in relation to the presentations and the works that children and young people are making in these music and art schools. And yeah, this could be really a good possibility to enable these young artists and also the art teachers to animate this cultural network we all just heard about. So thank you very much for the opportunity to talk about our big project.
Yes. Yeah, thank you so much. If I got you correctly, practically we have an open call from Lower Austria for a future cooperation within the Danube region, and especially with the Vojvodinian partners here in the area of musical schools. Yeah. Yeah, Mrs. Milosevic will definitely speak about it a little bit later. So we have a new building, a new, very representative and an excellent musical and ballet school here in Navisad, yes. And artistic skills. Maybe do you want to say something about that? That sounds for me, because I'm not from the area of culture, very, very interesting.
Yes, sorry, Vitar, for interrupting you, but I just must say that I would like to manage better and stronger cooperation between our music schools, because we have an Academy of Arts. As you know, or maybe you're not, doesn't know, that I'm a violin player. I studied Academy of Arts in Navisad, and I would really like to cooperate with your music schools and to exchange our music artists, of course.
Perfect.
That's it.
So we have already started this discussion part, and we will continue a little bit later. According to the program, we continue. So thank you one more time, Mrs. Khan and Mrs. Larsen. And now we give the floor to, let me just check, Mona Yas, Artistic Director of Kinderkunstlabor from St. Pölten, Lower Austria. The floor is yours, please.
Thank you very much for this invitation and this wonderful panel. I'm really very happy to be able to present this very new project to you. And I will share my screen. And just 1 second. And we start with the Children's Art Lab. The special thing about this Children's Art Lab is it's not yet here. So it's a project which will be built in 2024, and it will be built in St. Pölten by Schenker Salvi Weber Architects from Vienna. And this building will be located at Altona Park in St. Pölten. So it's like a combination of a beautiful building and a beautiful surrounding and park. I can see something in the chat. Okay, it's not according to my presentation, sorry. So I will continue. And you can see here like the model and the surrounding park. And the idea of the Children's Art Lab is to build a new contemporary art institution in St. Pölten as the capital of Lower Austria, which offers a young audience a holistic and inclusive experience with contemporary fine art. So this is really about the encounter of the art field, the contemporary art field, and young visitors. And this whole building is specially created for this kind of encounter. As you can see here, we already started in the park to create some objects with a collective out of mud and with young people of the surrounding area. And just to give you an impression, you can see the building here and you can see the park. This is also meant to enlarge the quality of living in the city, but also to attract. Oh, what's that? Also to attract international encounters and exchanges. Maybe something to be mentioned is that we want to show the full range of current artistic production. And also we are looking for exchange and cooperation. So this is also an open call. That's why I'm very enthusiastic of being invited to this panel also, because we are really looking for locally, regionally, and globally cooperations. And with a special focus of exploring the needs and the requirements of a young generation. This is really, really dramatically urgent in my view, also because of this whole pandemic and all this kind of pressure and urge we have. It's even more important to reflect these needs along thematic artistic works. You can see here some impressions of our last workshop. So we are really like thinking in terms of hands-on, and we want to provide spaces for discovery-led play with permanently installed, but also mobile items and objects, interactive, accessible, hands-on sculptures, and art installations in the interior and exterior spaces of the building. With this theme going through like central aesthetically oriented concepts as a basic for discovery guided learning to create a unique and special blend of play and art space. Also to change perspectives of the art field, but also to change perspectives of young people and the society towards fine art. Also, we are planning a children's library. And the very special thing as well is that we work with Children's Advisory Council. So we have a group of young people from the age from 6 to 13 right now who are already taking some decisions and who are already discussing positions of fine art and looking for some artists for the building to be presented, but also to install their works there. Also, we have a Center for Art Education, and this Center for Art and Arts Education will provide qualifications and trainings based on the empirical research going on throughout all the corporations, but also with corporations with universities. So you can see here some of the drawings of a very young child. They all dream about climbing up to the sky. And therefore, we discussed this possibility with our group of young people. And we found a solution, like this is in progress, a work which is in progress now is a collaboration to include a work within the building inside to provide kids this experience with the artist Toshiko Horiyuchi McAdam. This is not like, this is still in progress and in work, but it's a profound wish of the participant children to have something like this and to have this kind of experience within the building, but also to have this experience of an exposition, of a presentation of contemporary fine art. So here you can see the blending of these two different fields also. Also, we are discussing other temporary items and mobile items with a designer from Warsaw, Jakub Szczesny. He is also very welcomed by our group, who adore his work and find this really funny. And as an ending point of my presentation, I want to mention our cooperation with Art in Public Space, Lower Austria. There we are looking for works outdoor, for 2 works, and our young council committee, these children I have been talking about with the age of 6 to 13, just again to mention this, we are looking for 2 positions. And we are really, they have a vote in this. And we create special workshops to give them the space and to give them the voice, which is really interesting. And so I thank you for your attention, and you will hear from us. And we are looking for cooperations and for exchange on the topic of young people, of giving voice, and also of exchange. Thank you.
Thank you, Mona, a lot. I have just one short question for you because we are just a little bit late according to our schedule. Children's Art Lab, it looks very innovative, and you mentioned holistic experience for children. My question is this a pioneer project in Austria, or do you already have some similar experience, similar project already implemented in Austria?
Thank you very much for this question, because this opens up for the special profile of this institution. To explain this, this is a pioneer institution because we have some museums for children in Lower Austria and also in Vienna, for instance, but there's no institution for children to see contemporary fine art, which is specially built for them and created with them. So yes, it's a pioneer project, and I'm very happy to be in this position to, to take part in this really, really exciting project.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And now our last speaker. We have been informed by our colleagues from Lower Austria that we will have Viktor Krylov with us from International Elias Canetti Society from Bulgarian city of Rase. Mr. Krylov, please.
Hello, everyone. And thank you for giving us the opportunity to hear all of your really nice and full of input presentations. It was really, really interesting to learn more about what you do and about your projects. So since I'm the last speaker, I won't take too much of your time. I just want to first to greet all of you from the name of our director, Professor Angelova, who unfortunately won't be able to participate because of previous engagements. And I will also share my screen and show you what I've prepared for today. Okay. Can everyone see?
Yes, from here it's fine.
Okay, so our organization is called the International Elias Society. Now, really short, the most important things about us. The society was founded in 1992 in Ruse, Bulgaria. You can see a couple of photos from the city square during winter and during warmer times. For those of you who are familiar with Canetti, he is the Nobel Prize winner for literature for Bulgaria, the only one actually. The goals of our NGO are to do research of Canetti's work and participation in rebuilding civil societal structures in post-communist Bulgaria, as well as, of course, promotion of the European integration process with special emphasis on the countries of the Danubian culture region. The projects we realize are in the fields of science and publishing. Aside from the Elias Society, there is also the Austrian Library in Ruse, which also works in close cooperation with Elias Publishing House, for which I will also tell you a couple of words. The other sphere we work in is on civic education, as well as, of course, art and culture. As far as science is concerned, we do a lot of scientific lectures and conferences, as well as long-term educational projects. Yeah, here actually in the middle of this photo, you can see our chairperson, Professor Angelova, giving a lecture. One of our most interesting projects, which might be interesting for you to hear, is called Language Against Dropout. This project had to do with assisting local schools, and not only local, but this is the first part, schools and kindergartens for children from kindergarten to first grade. It had to do with helping them by introducing interactive classes, which had to do with a lot of illustrative materials, as well as language-based games. So all of this, the purpose of all of that was to assist local children and children from the minorities to do better at school and learn better Bulgarian as well as Romanian. It was initiated in 2015 and it lasted for 3 years. As you can see, this was a joint project by the Canadian Society, the University of Heidelberg in Germany, as well as the University of Veliko Tarnovo, Constantin in Romania, and the schools and kindergartens in Ruse, which I mentioned. As far as the publishing house is concerned, we have around 45 publications, which includes scientific publications and on European literature translated to Bulgarian, as well as Bulgarian books translated to German and more. And the society also has its own cultural studies published by the periodic university publishing house. As far as civic education is concerned, we are trying to create an independent platform for critical dialogue with special focus on including young people, as well as organization of public debates, long-term environmental education projects, as well as, of course, international exchange projects. For art and culture, we organize and realize many art and cultural events with a particular focus on interdisciplinary aspects, as well as promotion and mediation of contemporary art from Bulgaria and the countries of the Danubian region. We're also trying to strengthen the networks by inviting artists and cultural workers both to and from the European level. And now this is our biggest annual event in Ruse, which we organize. We have been organizing it since 2008, the International Literature Festival. And this year we organized it for the 14th time under the title Breath of Europe. The program usually features literary and staged readings. Here you can see a couple of highlights from the Literature Festival during the years, and the place you see on the photos is Caneti House. This was the workshop of the grandfather of Elias Caneti before it turned over to the Caneti Society, and we use it for the purposes of organizing cultural events. So you can imagine it's a really good space for contemporary art. So it's not only about literature, but about many other different art formats and perspectives, and includes film screenings, for example, interactive exhibitions, and performances and installations, as well as workshops and more. Here are some highlights of the different years. You can see some of our exhibitions who have been presented. On the top screen on the left, you can see a really interesting Polish exhibition by the Polish Institute in Sofia, Bulgaria, as well as some highlights of authors we have been inviting during the years. And here you can see a bit of more on the in the sense of international cooperation. On the left, you can see Ms. Nicolia Skenderia-Bonet from Bosnia, who has spoken during the festival about the language of Elias Caneti. And on the right, you can see Thomas Pelle, the German author who currently lives in Austria, if I'm not mistaken, who has also presented his book. I also want to mention another thing we're doing called the Sharing Future Residency Scholarship. We have been doing this since 2019 to today, and we had so far 3 really nice people coming as artists in residence. On the left, you can see Ms. Sarah Renard, a famous Croatian musician who compilated her own musical album about Danube in Russia. In the middle, you can see Ms. Zora Kreutzer from Germany, who presented her creative lights workshop in Caneti House. And last but not least, down on the right, you can see again Mr. Thomas Pelle, who this year was our artist in residence, and with the participation of local artists as well as actors from the state theater, in Russia. They prepared really nice a theatrical workshop. I also want to mention another event we took part fairly soon, called the Danube School Conference, which commemorated 40 years since the award of the Nobel Prize to Elias Caneti, under the title Danubian Inclusive, Value-Based, Empathetic, Responsive Society, or in short, DIVERSE, with the special participation of His Excellency Christoph Eichhorn, the Ambassador of Germany to Bulgaria. On the left side, you can see him presenting his lecture in the University of Russia, and on the right side, you can see him in the Austrian library with local students from the Friedrich Schiller German Language School. So this was a really nice event, and I felt the need to share it with you. I also want to mention that there is also an award for literature on the name of Elias Caneti, which has been being awarded every second year since 2005 by the municipality of Russia on the occasion of the 100th anniversary of Caneti's birth. And here you can see a couple of highlights from the awarding ceremonies. As I mentioned, our premises are the Caneti Center, the Caneti House, as well as the Austrian Library, in which we are based on the square in Russia, and from which we implement our cultural, scientific, civil society-based and all our activities. I mentioned a bit about the Caneti House. It was built in 1898 by the Caneti family as a business and commercial building. And today it is used as a meeting place for young people and not only local people, but throughout Europe. Artists, writers, choreographers, and more, which we invite on our events. And this is the place where it happens. some of our partners for your information, just highlight. And without further notice, I want to really thank you for your attention, and we really look forward to your visit here in Ruse, hopefully in some of our events. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Krylov, for presenting International Elias Canetti Society from Ruse in Bulgaria. We see that you are very active and implementing many different activities and projects within your society. And after this presentation, we will just from our technical department air the promotional video about Vojvodina Symphony Orchestra. Nenad, if we are ready, we can air the movie. I hope that all have enjoyed in this video. At least here, we in this room have enjoyed really and honestly. And with this promotional video, we have come to the end of this event, but not in fully. So we have reached the final part of today's conference, in which we open the discussion and give opportunity to talk about topics of common interest for all stakeholders in direct contact with representatives of cultural institutions. I will just say a couple of words in Serbian language and then we will open the discussion. Drage kolege, iako nam je zvanični jezik engleski današnje konferencije, slobodno se služite i srpskim jezikom ukoliko želite bilo kakvu konkretnu ideju ili predlog da uputite kolegama. Vesna je tu sa nama, naše drage koleginice imaju mikrofon i kogod bude zatražio reč, koleginica će prići i izvolite slobodno se obratiti na srpskom jeziku. So we now officially open the discussion part in both English and maybe we'll have some Serbian presentations from here. Who first wants to take part in the discussion?
Hello?
Yes, please.
Can I
Mr. Lange?
begin?
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, of course, Mr. Lange.
Thanks a lot. Hello, everyone. It's really a pleasure to attend this conference, and it's with very, very interesting contributions. So thank you first. I would like to cordially invite you to our International Danube Culture Conference on behalf of the Ministry of Science, Research and Art, Baden-Württemberg, and the European Danube Academy. Katka mentioned it in her contribution. We had to postpone in December the conference, which was planned in December in Ulm. Now we will organize it, and I will invite you to this date from 8th to 10th of May. And we hope that the Corona situation give us a chance to organize this conference. And I please note this date, and all further information you can see at www.danubeculture.eu. I repeat, www.danubeculture.eu.
Maybe just one quick information. Hello, my name is Teresa Stummer. I work for the General hello. I work for the General Secretariat of the Danube working community. So if you have any invitations for this group, and just send it to me, and I am glad to distribute it through our network. So
yes,
if
please
you have
do
the invitation,
it, yes.
just send it to me,
Okay.
and then I can forward it as soon as you have further details. So
Thanks a
this
lot.
is
Thanks a
also
lot.
an invitation to everybody.
Thank you very lot, Teresa. I will inform you a little bit about these conferences. For many years, these conferences have served as an art of exchange between cultural workers and political decision makers in the Danube region. I am proud to remind you that at the Danube Culture Conference 2014 in Navisad, the application for an European Capital of Culture was launched for the first time. One of the projects, Katka mentioned it, is a small project fund in cooperation, small project fund for cultural initiatives in the Danube region. This is a project in cooperation with the working group of Danube countries, with Niederösterreich and so on. And it's also supported by the Ministry of Science, Arts, and so on. Yes, and many thanks for the invitation to the opening ceremony of the cultural capital. I am very glad to be in Navisad again. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Lange. Does someone have any kind of a comment or any other proposal? Yes, please. Možemo samo mikrofon, da. Pa ja mislim da kamera može da uhvati, a sad ćemo vidjeti i sad. Da.
Do you hear me now? Yes.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. I really enjoy these presentations, and I would like to tell something about programs in Pavle Beljanski Memorial Collection next year for our colleagues in institutions and association in Danube region. My name is Milana Kvas. I'm an art historian and director of the Legacy, the Pavle Beljanski Memorial Collection. We preparing 2 exhibitions for the next year about heroines of the Pavle Beljanski Memorial Collection, artist woman. And our museum is special because we have about 40% of the works of art of the women artists. So that is the very rare situation in the museums. And the other big exhibition for next year is the exhibition named Sabashumanovic and European Realisms between the 2 world wars. So during that exhibition, we plan to organize some presentations of the artists from the European countries. So I invite you to collaborate and to maybe send us some proposals about your artists from the period of the first half of the 20th century to be presented in our museum. More about our museum you can see on our website, and also there are the emails of our my and other special team. So please write us and we could make a good collaboration. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Just one additional information from you. Our Undersecretary from the Provincial Secretariat for Culture told us that all the contact addresses from all representatives from the Institution of Culture from Vojvodina will be shared with you. So probably send all contact details of all people who are here present from Institution of Culture, and then you can continue after the discussion, cooperate more and directly. Katka, is this maybe the 9th activities you can take on working with the Vojvodinians representatives?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so we have one matchmaking. Okay, thank you. So this is the first concrete activities which we have today, practically idea, and we have a partner from the Lower Austrian side. We can continue further on. Does someone else want to take, please, Mrs. Pesterac? This is it.
I was looking at these presentations really carefully. I like most of them. And what I like the most, I must say, is the laboratory for children, Kinderkunstlabor, if I pronounced it well. Well, I would like to mention that the Museum of Vojvodina has a really long tradition of educational activities in the context of museums. And we have a department for education, museum education, which lasts for 45 years. And we have 6 people who are working actually within this department. So if you have any kind of ideas of connecting and connections that we can create according to this subject and including children in cultural activities, then think about us. Thank you.
Sounds perfect. Ona?
Yeah, thank you very much for this invitation. That sounds wonderful. And I'm looking forward to getting into connection, because actually this is what we are looking for as well. We are planning an international symposia in 2023 And I think it could be a starting point to meet and to get into exchange about topics and maybe also themes and needs. And so I think it's a perfect matchmaking. Thank you.
Oh, bravo. The second one. We can continue. Thank you.
I would like to Mona that in Vojvodine there is as well one great international festival for youths in Subotica, which have the scientific forum for investigation of the art for the theater of the children and youths. So maybe we can share that is just one proposal for you that could be interested on that scientific level, and as well for the Mrs. Larsen and Mrs. Han. As you know, the Serbian National Theatre has an orchestra, the symphonic orchestra, where we are basically our members are from the Academy of Arts of Novi Sad, the music department. We all are very interested to exchange our young artists. I'm sure that the colleagues from Symphonic Orchestra, but I don't want to, of Vojvodine, I don't want to speak in their name, but there is a lot of mutual members. So if you are interested or have some idea of some projects with our musicians, please let us know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm sure we find some very good matches between your projects and our.
Perfect. Can we continue? Do we have some, maybe from the foundation?
I can say a few words.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a few words more from the foundation. It's very difficult to discuss now the future collaboration in the midst of final preparations for the year of the title. But I would like to invite all of the present people and representatives of institutions from the region, Danube region, to contact us. We are always looking for new partnerships, and at least we can serve as a point of contact with other institutions in the city and organizations from the non-governmental department. So yeah, please feel free to contact us for any information or potential partnership.
Thank you. Okay, so we have 4 speakers, 5. Do we have someone else, or we are very close to ending today's event?
Well, if I may, I wanted to take the possibility. Please. To just say some few words about the joint exhibition project between Lower Austria, state collections of Lower Austria and Novi Sad. Katka already mentioned, and Mrs. Stankovic also mentioned the exhibition. So it's for the state collection of Lower Austria. The next year is also a year of celebration, because we are celebrating 100 years of Lower Austria as an independent region. And one of our projects is showcasing the most important objects of the state collections that in total comprise about 6 million objects, and of all fields of collections, from archaeology, about natural history, and art and cultural history. So our project was a book with the most important objects of our collections from every field that we cover, that our departments cover. And when we heard of the possibility of making this joint exhibition with Novi Sad, we were very happy, because we were already in the process of determining our highlight objects, and we're very happy of finding a possibility to showcase them in this great museum of Novi Sad, and in the capital of culture of 2022. So I say thank you for this possibility. And if we have just 2 minutes left, I would like to show you some pictures, if it's possible. I don't know if we still have the time. So
Minutes is fine because we are I think that we are at the end of the event.
Sorry?
I think that we have 2 additional minutes after your presentation. I think that we are at the end of today's event.
Okay, so just give me just a moment to show you some pictures to have a look at it. It would be a presentation. It would be a little bit longer, but let's just have a look at the. We start with prehistory, and our goal is to show and to find connections between our regions. So here we have late Bronze Age, the Urnfield culture, also something the museum in Navisad can find a connection to us. Let's move on to Roman archaeology, where we were all together in the province Pannonia, in the Roman province Pannonia at Roman times. That included Eastern Austria and, well, part of Central Europe. We have nature studies, where we have a connection also to the Lower Austrian Region Exhibition 2022 in Machek, which focuses on man and nature and its interdependencies. We could compare the natural habitats. And moving on to art, we have here Waldmüller, Children with Grapes. And besides being a very important object of the Lower Austrian, of the state collections of Lower Austria, it's also interesting because both regions, Vojvodine and Lower Austria, have well-known and very tasty wineries. So the slopes of Fruška Gora, and in Lower Austria we have the Wachau and Klosterneuburg. Then something quite different from the art collection, tooth extraction. It's not so funny to look at, but it's a very interesting topic of history of medical treatments. We could find connections on that topic too. And then, of course, the Habsburg dynasty. We have in the state collection of Lower Austria one of the largest compilations of personal objects from the House of Habsburg worldwide. And we want also to show something from there. Here we have a writing set that the Prince Royal Rudolf received as a young boy from his parents. Then local history, textile industry. I will move on very fast now because we have not so much time left, I think. Historical toys, we have a game that's called The Journey on the Danube. So we can travel this route on the Danube between our regions. Ethnology collection, of course, very important, I think, for the exhibition also. That is my department, the ethnology collection. We have here a jug with St. Leopold. And then as a last object from this selection here, this of course not final yet, a nativity scene from Eggenburg. And then I will close with this because we have not so much time. I think it was about 2 minutes.
Thank you so much, Mr. Leuzzi. We now know what we can see in Novi Sad very soon in this exhibition. And if we do not have anyone else who will speak at the end, I will just start with the official closing of today's conference. Esteemed friends, participants of today's conference, on behalf of the organizers, the working group for the presidency of the Autonomous Province of Vojvodina over the working community of the Danube regions 2021-2022, and our esteemed friends from the Permanent Secretariat of the Working Community from St. Pölten, I would like to thank you for your effort, energy, and time you invested in today's panel conference. We are glad that numerous topics and opportunities for future cooperation in the field of culture have been opened, and they really are, which is how we achieved the goal of today's conference. I wish you all the best, lots of health, beautiful moments in this period preceding New Year's Eve, and I hope to see you all live next year in Novi Sad, the European Capital of Culture 2022. Thank you once again, and have a nice rest of the day.
Thank you very much. Greetings.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. It was a lovely meeting.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.